Boom. Hello and welcome to Season 8, Episode 8. We are in there. Foot of the mountain. And I say this probably every single time that there is a vertical painting, but I'm always like, damn, it's been a while since we've had a vertical painting. Because it always feels like it is. It always feels like it's been a while whenever I do one. Which, I'm just gonna assume that he probably didn't do as many of these because of, I would assume, the canvas that he usually uses. I assume those are probably easier or more common to come by, if I had to guess. I don't know why exactly, but that's just an assumption I have. Yo, G, good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. I really don't hear Prac snaps anymore because I haven't used Snapchat in like a year. And there he is. I'm good. Hey. It's been so long since Snapchat has been in my arsenal. Maybe someday. It really didn't help me wanting to use Snapchat when they started being like every company out there and shoving some AI nonsense into the app. Be like, oh, here's an AI buddy that's like forced to the top of your friends list and you can't remove it unless you pay for their fucking Snapchat premium. I was like, I am never paying for this. You guys are not getting a cent out of me ever. I was like, bro, like this shit's so dumb. Prac would be the only reason I would use Snap again, because it was pretty fun watching Prac snaps. Just him in his car. He's like, happy Monday. Yeah, I'm kind of tired. And there's this person following me in traffic earlier on the highway, and I would back up, girl. Anyways, I hope everyone enjoys their day. I'm not looking forward to going to the office. Ugh. Prac Snapchats in a nutshell. And then it's him listening to all the single ladies. Did you hear Snap put a storage limit for what? Like for saving like chats or something? Question mark? Using the same phone. I do. Yeah, I still have your case on it because I don't know. I just never bothered to get a different one. Snap memories. Ooh. I mean, people were probably like I mean, me included. I was a person who like giga like used that shit. Yeah, don't worry, it's gonna be so juicy though when all this AI nonsense just bursts eventually. Because apparently it's not even like profitable at all. Like the only reason, like I guess apparently they even like make money is because of investors putting money into it, but they're not making money otherwise. They're just like actively losing money. Like fuck Disney. How they apparently have some agreement with OpenAI or whatever to allow it to use their characters. I cannot wait to have that become like, oops, people make a bunch of like fucked up things with that. I really hope it just sets off a grease fire in their face. It'd be so good. There's like the whole thing also, because I'm sure some people here probably watched the Game Awards. I did not. I didn't watch the Game Awards just because I just don't give a fuck about the Game Awards, and it's like if there's anything cool that would be announced or something that I'd care about, like I would hear about it. Like someone would probably tell me, or I would see on like Blue Sky or whatever. But since the Game Awards, I just keep seeing things frequently about Expedition 33, Player Obscure, about how it's, you know, how it's like that game allegedly made use of AI in it, and then they kind of just like shoved it under the rug, or like were like super like vague about it, and it didn't never like really disclosed it very well. So people are kind of like, oh, I wonder what else they used it for in that game and didn't have mention of it. I kept seeing it going around on my feed about like some like textures apparently that were placeholder, allegedly placeholder, that were like AI, Gen AI'd. So I hear a lot of people just being like, don't play this game, y'all. I don't really know for sure what it was. I saw like some snippet of an article someone was sharing that was like some dev, or I don't know if it was like some high up or whoever the fuck they were, but some person on the team, like someone, some interviewer asked them about the AI, and they like made some very like vague comment about it, and then just kind of like moved on without really elaborating, apparently. And I'm like, I don't know. It is just so tiring, like half the time these days, where it's like, you know, like when people are like, oh, this is AI, it's like you know, I'm not trying to look at something online and like get out like my microscope and put it on some like, just like, okay, let me zoom in everything, let me analyze this, let me Dexter's lab this, I don't know. Like, is this AI? Let me just, can I just like look at things and like not have to worry about if some evil practice being used to make it? Is that an unfair request to have? Can I just like, can we just look at things on the internet and not have to question the legitimacy of things? Well, that's been a problem on the internet forever, but it's only worse now. Yeah, it's about that, Prac, yeah. And you followed through with a G. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I have no idea, like, how much of it is, like, for real or, like, is blown up out of proportion. I really don't know. But in the stuff I was seeing the other night, I think people are mostly upset. It's like, I wish, like, that they would just say something, because they just kind of, like, are, like, dodging it and, like, not saying anything about it. So I think that's valid to have a sus opinion on something like that if they just actively like aren't being transparent about it. I think that's totally understandable for people to be upset about that. I can't say it's a game. I literally don't know like what the game is like at all. It's just one of those like big name games I hear people talk about. But y'all know me, big name game is usually not something that I care about normally. Yeah, it's a weird case, because I feel like usually people say good things about it. So, I don't know. Who's to say? Okay, this sky is actually not that bad. The sky's actually pretty good so far, I think. Man, I gotta say, y'all, though, unrelated to anything, like, I have been working so much lately on this art project that I should have finished a long time ago, but then I just kind of didn't work on it for like 4 months. And I feel like I'm in the hyperbolic time chamber. Like I'm in there. I talked about it last week and previous weeks, but it definitely goes back to comic work being so much work. It is so much work. And as I also said, it just tests so many different skills. Oh, it's an interesting challenge. And on that note, I need to fucking start my Secret Santa stuff still. I don't know about any of y'all, about you, Pracker G, but I have not started my Secret Santa stuff. Other than like thinking of things in my head. But then now that I think about it more, I'm like, do I want to do that? I don't know. So my original plan was to get my Secret Santa thing done this week. We'll have to see if I stick with that though. I don't know if that's gonna. I mean, if I dedicate to working on it this week, like I think I should definitely be able to finish it this week. It's just the concept that I originally had. I don't know if I want to do that still or not. So I need to send it out. Are you shipping it like in like yourself, Prac, or do you have to just like buy it from Amazon or something? Yeah, I'll have to head out in a bit. Oh shit, going to a Korean barbecue hot pot combo. Pause champ. Send it out. So send it out yourself. Question mark. Like ship it out physically with a box that you have. Question mark. Send tweet. Question mark. Yes. Okay. Send tweet. Tweet has been sent. Just a grocery run? Oh frick. Grocery run, Chan? I hope that's exciting. Boom. Go a little bit further down. Oh. Okay, but do you think we'll out? But like, we're probably not actually doing the opening until like what? Like January at some point, I assume. Mouse, move! I was trying to move the mouse for like 5 seconds and it was just staying in the same spot, bro. That spot is cursed on the canvas, apparently. Work will be killing me on Christmas week, so I'd hope after New Year's. I assume we'd probably be going for some time like middle of January or probably post AGDQ. I assume. I don't know if anyone's going to AGDQ in our group though, actually. Well, I think Prac's going probably. Question mark. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else is going. I'm not going. Blubbers. Maybe SGDQ will be fun, but I don't know. Well, I might have to leave Tuesday night, but I haven't decided yet. Guess what we'll have to see. Also, I saw you Saturday, I think, Prac, playing a repo. I was like, damn, I wasn't expecting Prac to be playing a repo. Were you having a good time? Were you like, guys, I'm scared. I don't know where to go. Also, David playing Peak last night. I'm like, damn, miss when David played Peak with me, the singular session. I played with David when his original friends that were supposed to play with him did not, and then now he actively avoids us. I'm like, buh. He doesn't actively avoid us, but David. I want to peek with you again. You did okay. Huge. You like it more than lethal? Oh yeah. I was actually just saying the other night, I was like, because there was like a while where like Panza, G, and I were on the repo grind. And then they went to the SGDQ and then came back and then we played a single time and then haven't played since. But I was like, at this point, I was like, I feel like I'd rather play lethal than repo. Like if we were to play, I'd just be like, why don't we just play lethal instead? I definitely think enemies are a lot more just like annoying in repo. Personally. That's like one thing, that enemies can just be so obnoxious with how they work. I think like sometimes you just kind of have to like hide for like ever and just wait for them to go away. I guess you can definitely get into scenarios like that in lethal as well, for sure. But it doesn't feel like as bad. I think, I mean, just don't die, smile. But I think one big flaw with that game, with with Repo, in my opinion at least, is that if you die, you could be dead for like an infinite amount of time. Like you could be dead for like a half hour, just in there waiting to come back. Whereas like at least in lethal, like, you know, the day, I think like an 8 a.m. to midnight in lethal, I think it's like 12 to 15 minutes, somewhere in that range. Because every day in lethal is not like, they're not the same amount of time. It like varies because like it like works something like every like time, like a minute or like passes, it like chooses between like 3 to 5 in-game minutes to pass or something weird. It's like a really weird system with how it functions. But something like that. But like, we've definitely had experiences in Repo where it's like, oh, it's like, I remember one time vividly, we were playing, and I remember Ark was playing with us, and he like went off in a different direction, like where no one had been yet. And he was just dead for like the entire day. And he was probably dead for like an hour or something. I don't know why that like lives rent free in my head. I also really wish in Repo closing doors did something. Right, my throat being all weird. But, oh my god. Please work, voice. But that's something that always bothered me with Repo, is that when you close a door behind you, like, enemies don't get stopped by the doors. And I'm like, why do they even have the doors in the first place, then? Because that's, like, valid tech and lethal. You can, like, trap enemies behind doors. But in Repo, they just kind of, like, ignore it. It's like, it'll maybe slow it down for, like, half a second, maybe. I know Skittle, I was talking to Skittle about that the other night, and they were like, I wish I could just, delete doors from that game, because they're just, like, a hindrance half the time. I don't know, I feel like I had, like, a big arc with Repo, where it was, like, Like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this at first compared to Lethal, and then I was like really into it for a while, and then I feel like after a bit I was like, eh. I feel like I'm currently in my arc with it. But I don't know. I need a game to like really like that really just captures my soul. I need a game that speaks to me. I feel like right now there's like really like no games that I'm like super like, oh yeah, I want to be playing this a bunch right now. But maybe it's because like my mind is so focused on like getting like this art project like finished, which it is like potentially one of the things I have spent the most in terms of art. It is possibly currently like the most amount of time I've dropped like on an art project. Especially because like back in like July to August, I was like working on it, and then I stopped working on it, and then back like in like end of November, I think I like came back to it, and I just like basically started from scratch. Like I am not using like pretty much any of the existing material that I like drew for it back then. So like I'm basically just redoing like everything and like changing it. Sounds exciting. I think it is exciting, but it's also kind of tragic if someone's wanting to see it because it's a very personal project that I don't think will ever see the light of day, probably. Like, it would be cool to have it as something I could like be like, hey, this is something I'd put a lot of work into, but it's something that will probably stay under wraps for the foreseeable future. Maybe maybe a random thing from it will be like something I'll show. It's a very personal thing. I was thinking about that the other night. I was like, it's been a while since I've actually drawn anything that I've like shown. Actually, I drew something. I made like a whole thing with like a big emphasis on like just doing like whatever my mind could think of for the background. I did that back in like May, I think. And I never posted it anywhere. Maybe I'll post that at some point. We'll see. Because I think when I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool still. I think it looks pretty neat. But I just like never ended up posting it anywhere. Yo, Arnaud, how are you? You're just in time. We were just talking about AGDQ like 10 minutes ago. Yeah, a little unfortunate, Al. Yeah, maybe there's like a few like a drawing or two. I'm like, maybe I'll use that as an icon when I finish it. Maybe. We'll see. AGDQ, I am not going to, unfortunately. Are you going, G? I know, yeah, Prax said, yeah, Prax going, at least for a little bit. Also, Mountain check, pretty good. I think Mountain's pretty good, actually. There should be some blue in the grays, like right here and such, but, you know, we don't really have a blue-gray, so I could overlay some of the blue on it, but I don't want to, like, make it too cluttered, I guess. You're going for, like, 3 to 4 days? Nice. That should be exciting. Hopefully exciting. Yeah, I would like to go to SGDQ. I think that'd be fun, especially because it will be the 10-year anniversary of my first GDQ, which is fucked up, and I hate thinking about it. I hate thinking about that. I'm like, why? Why has it been 10 years come SGDQ? I hate that. Do y'all ever think about stuff like that, though? I don't want to get too deep into it. I hate talking about this. The passage of time is a wild topic, but like, do y'all ever just get like into the thought of like, I don't know, like thinking about like different points in your life? Because like I think about like let's say like SGDQ 2016, that being my first GDQ I went to, like that like period of time, like, or we'll say even like 2015, like basically around the time I like graduated college or high school, not college. When I graduated high school in 2015, like that to like 2017, like that felt like, I don't know, just like you know, that was actually kind of a fun time. I was just going to GDQ. I was going to Smash tournaments in Toronto. That was pretty fun actually. And then like college was like 2018 to 2020. That was like a whole like chunk. That was a whole chunk of things, which is still crazy that it was like only like 2.5 years. Cause I started my semester in the winter and not the spring, fall, whatever, in September. So I went from like mid-January 2018, and then I graduated halfway through April 2020. And then like from like then till now is just like been like a different chunk of my life, and it's like, damn, like if I think about like pre-college, like it feels like so different compared to today. Like it feels so far away, but also not at the same time. It's like so weird. It's such like a bizarre thing to think about. Stuff like that, in my opinion. Because it's like, oh, things weren't that different, but things were also a lot different at the same time. What am I trying to get out of here? I don't know. I'm just talking. I don't know what I'm trying to get at, so send tweet. You didn't think anyone was going? Yeah, I remember I saw GDQ posting like, oh, guys, it's 2 months away. We still have 0 attendees. Can you guys, like, sign up, please? Kind of crazy, right? You know, it's interesting because yeah, my first GDQ was SGDQ 2016, and I didn't go to an AGDQ until 2019. So I skipped. I think AGDQ 2016 was the first one that I was like considering going to, but not many of my friends were going, so I didn't go. And then SGDQ 2016, like a bunch of my friends were wanting to go, so I was like, okay, this seems like a good, like I should probably go to this. I actually almost didn't go. I was close to not going, but then I went. And I wonder how different my life would have been if I didn't go to SGDQ 2016. Like, I probably still would have went to a GDQ at some point, likely. But I wonder, like, what would that have changed if I didn't go? I wonder. And then yeah, I went to SGDQ 17, 18, and then finally I went to AGDQ 2019. And I still rate AGDQ 2019 as like a very high tier GDQ for me. That one like was so fun. That was also back when Ultimate first came out and was like new, and we liked Ultimate still, and now I don't like that game these days. But back then it was hype. They're at 1783 out of 2500. It's crazy that they still don't fill up very fast at all. Partially probably because of how like expensive just things are these days. But like, you know, yeah, back in like 16, probably more like 2017. So I think 2016, when I went to SGDQ 2016, I don't think registration filled up super quickly back then. But I think like 2017, 18, like all the way to like 2020, it like registration filled up so much quicker. It was insane how much faster it filled up over time. And then pandemic obviously fucked things up. But we're far like, you know, we're so far past that at this point. But I guess you know, like things are like definitely still like pretty expensive, and I know a lot of people definitely just like also don't want to travel to the US because of cool things. Like I definitely see people online be like, oh, you know, I'd want to go to this, but I don't want to go to the States right now, which is understandable, totally. Yo, Manadisi, how's it going? But it's crazy because like I'm pretty sure like my first GDQ, like early GDQs, like registration was like I think like 50 or 60 bucks, and now it's like over 100. Over 100 bucks to register for GDQ now, I'm pretty sure. It's like doubled in price, which is just like crazy. That's like gotten that much more expensive. Armo left. Fuck. Shit. Did you guys have a good time? You paid 180? Bruh. That's insane. Did Anna cook Chinese food for Arma? At any point? I says a donation, so closing your eyes on that. That's valid. That's a way to look at it. It's a way to, you can look at it indeed. She didn't? What the hell? Edda. What was the most hype thing you guys did? When Arma was there? What'd you say? We didn't really go out and do much besides food. It was more of an exist together vibe. That's valid. Especially if that was me. Because it's like cold AF right now, and I'm like, I don't want to go outside right now. You realize my screen is rotated 90 degrees? It's true, because as you can see in the bottom left of the OBS, or of the whole stream, rather, this is a vertical painting, a very tall canvas compared to the usual Bob Ross canvas that he would use, which is usually more like just a rectangle. And, well, I guess this is a rectangle, technically more square. You know, actually, a square is a rectangle, actually. But for these ones, you know, you can't adjust the size of the Mario Paint canvas. So to get around that, I just have to paint the whole thing sideways. Like, if y'all want to see, like, I am, like, it's hard to see, but, like, I am looking at the TV, like, how the game is supposed to be displayed, but I'm painting everything, like, sideways. So it's an interesting task, because, you know, when you draw something or paint something, you would usually, you know, paint it the way you would be seeing it, but I'm painting it sideways. I mean, even if I had a way to, like, turn my TV on its side, like, the controls would be all messed up, so it wouldn't even work anyways. So, like, this is kind of like the only way to go about it. And, like, sometimes I'll, like, tilt my head, be like, how's it looking? Or like, I'll look at my OBS preview, because it shows me it the way you guys are seeing it, obviously. Without having to, like, you know, break my neck or anything. At G, break my neck. Okay, deep breath. Yeah, pretty cool. Also, I need to reply to those comments, because somebody left me, like, a comment on one of my YouTube videos. Shoutouts to, like, getting a few views here and there on these Mario Paint videos sometimes. But someone left a comment the other day saying, it'd be cool if I had Bob on the side, like, painting as well. Which, I think that would be cool. So if, at that person, if you're listening, this is targeted at you, because I should reply at some point, but I forgot. Whoopsie. I think that'd be cool in theory, but the only thing is, Bob paints these like 3 times as fast as I do it. Like, he does 3 paintings in the time it takes me to do 1 usually. So, like, he would finish, like, so early, it, like, wouldn't really be, like, as good. If I, like, was really practiced and, like, I was, like, matching Bob, like, 1-to-1 and was painting it, like, exactly the same way as him, then maybe that could work. Like, it'd be interesting to see, like, oh, like, I'm laying down this tree as Bob is laying down the same tree. Yeah, I don't know if there'd be any, like, legal things with that. I'm not sure. That, I have no idea what the ruling on that would be. Arma got a picture of your 3D printer? Well, they better have. It would have been a wasted trip if they didn't get a picture of your 3D printer. You following the same steps? Not necessarily. Like, there are definitely things, like, that I'll do in, like, a similar fashion. Like, because when you're painting traditionally, like, you would paint in background to foreground. So, you know, he would always do the sky first, and then, like, he would always do, like, the clouds, and then, like, the mountain. And then maybe sometimes you would, like, do the mountain and then put, like, a cloud, like, overlapping the mountain, maybe, to really show it's, like, oh, it's really, like, really tall, or, like, really far in the distance or something. Maybe you do something like that, maybe. So, like, you know, in Mario Paint, where, like, I don't have layers, like in Photoshop, for example, I don't have access to layers, so I have to naturally paint in a similar mindset to him. So I do have to think like, okay, like I need to do the sky and like render that out as much as I want to, and then do usually the mountain. I forget what it was, but there was like one there was one Bob Ross painting. It's like one where he actually has a person in the painting. It's like the silhouette of a cowboy, like I think like resting against a tree or something. And in that painting, I remember he actually makes a mistake. I forget what it was, but I remember he was like, "Oh, I should have done this earlier, but I forgot. But we're just gonna do it now anyways." And that always stuck out to me because it was like he like never makes mistakes. He's never like, "Oh, I forgot to do that actually." So that was interesting to like hear that. Be like, "Oh, I forgot to do that actually." And it's like, "Oh, Bob, you don't make mistakes. Only happy accidents." Got him. But when I do these, like each painting, I don't like watch the entire episode to see how he paints it. Sometimes I'll like just sit there and like watch for like a few minutes because I open up the YouTube video to take the screenshot of the painting. So sometimes I find myself sitting there like just watching him for like 5 minutes. But I don't like go in with the mindset of like trying to do it in exactly the same way that he does it. But there definitely have been paintings where I like have like watched up to a certain point to be like, okay, how did he like, you know, what order did he do that in? I've done that for a few of them, but not many. I don't usually do that. Plus also it kind of, I think it like maybe is like a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Test me more as an artist, I guess, to like just be able to look at the painting and be like, okay, like how do I like go about this? Like what order do I want to do everything in? So I think I can like kind of test myself in that regard. It's like looking at the painting being like, okay, like yeah, I can see like the work. Oh my god. Please donate to help me get a new voice box apparently, because mine is not functioning today. Do y'all ever just like have those days where like it feels like every like 20 seconds you have to like clear your throat or something? I like don't know what causes that some days. It's so bizarre. Yeah, I just muted the mic and was just like doing some like voice warm-ups. So I'm like, okay, maybe that'll help. I don't know. I feel like for some reason half the time these days, like if I don't like warm up my voice in advance, like before streaming or something, I feel like my voice is just like having a hard time wanting to like speak well. It's such a bizarre thing. But I think also because like, you know, a lot of times like before I stream. Like, I'm not usually talking much during the day. Especially on days, like, on, like, the weekend, like, you know, I'm having, like 5-hour stretches or something, where I'm just, like, sitting here at my computer drawing, and I'm, like, just not saying anything. I'm just, like, sitting here just drawing and drawing. Whereas, like, some people, they might be, like, you know, out talking a bunch or whatever. Doing things, keeping their voice warm. But that is not me. Might just also be like a genetic thing. I don't know. Or like a food thing. Like maybe it's something I'm eating. I don't know. Very weird. Very weird. I also just noticed I forgot to put in the dark green on this tree back here, because my game plan was to put the black in and then go over top with the green, and I forgot to do the green, so we're gonna do that now. Because I put the black down first, so that would be like the shadows of like the tree, then I was gonna kind of like roughly like put the green in. That looks a lot better now, actually. That looks a lot more like the tree. Isn't that cool? In other news, so for when Skittle and I are, you know, having dinner, most of the time we'll usually come down here and like watch something, and we'll kind of like go back and forth between like watching a YouTube video, depending like what the vibe is, or watching MasterChef. We'll like alternate between like watching like a season of MasterChef usually, and then watching Great British Bake Off, which it's kind of like similar in a way to MasterChef, but it's just baking, and the vibes are a lot more chill. Definitely, it's definitely way more relaxed compared to MasterChef. And we are currently on Great British Bake Off, and that's a definite last night. One of the Pog people got eliminated. I'm like, damn, we're at a point in the season where like everyone's just good, so it's kind of like competition's rough out there. But I'm like, damn, I like that person. She was pretty Pog. But there was one episode, spoiler alert, they had to make a thing. I think it was called an Alaska. Like that's the type of dessert it was called. And I think it's just like a cake with ice cream in it and like other things. And I guess that, because you know they had to make their own ice cream for it. That day I guess was like a really hot day, so I guess some people were like having a hard time like getting their ice cream to like set properly and be like solid and ice cream like, and not all like melty and liquidy and soupy. And there was one guy who his ice cream was just like liquid, basically. It was like, if it was like 0% is like liquid and like 100% is like fully set ice cream, it was probably like a 20 or 30 on the needle. It was like super liquidy still, and that guy was just got like turbo, like I guess just tilted, and just took his whole bake that he made, because for that thing it was the showstopper, as they call it, which is like the big like thing for each episode where it's like, okay, this is like your big like wow bake that you're gonna do, and they give you like a ton of time, and that one was like probably like 4 hours or something. And at that point he had probably spent like 2-3 hours on it, and he just took his whole thing and just threw it in the garbage and left. And I was like, damn, that guy's getting eliminated for sure. Like, he came back like as like they were like, okay, time's up. And I'm like, damn, this guy's getting eliminated for sure. He did. Which is a huge rip. It was like so unfortunate. But I was like, yeah, I feel like that's kind of like unrecoverable. Like, there's just like no justification for eliminating anybody else at that point, I feel like. I don't know, I do enjoy it though. I think it's a good show. It's cool to see what people will make. I don't know, cooking shows can go hard. But also, when we first, like when Skittle first introduced me to Bake Off, like I think we started with season 1, and I didn't vibe with season 1 very much because it was so slow. The pacing was extremely slow in the way where it would be like whenever they would introduce like what like the next challenge would be, like, okay, this is what the people are gonna bake, it would go on like a 5-minute like side quest where they like were like going somewhere else to be like show the history of like that like type of bake or whatever it might be and talk about it. And I don't think the idea of including like a little like history segment is a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing at all, but just the way it was implemented in that season, it felt like it was constantly getting slowed down. Like if they had like a little pop-up or something being like, this is a little blah 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 blah, it's like, okay. But it's like, damn, I'm just trying to watch the people bake. I'm not really here for like, you know, the whole side quest thing. But then we went to a different season and they weren't doing that anymore, so that's cool. But I guess people probably didn't really vibe with it if they didn't do it beyond like that first season. Is my assumption. People probably didn't vibe with it as much. Or were like, yeah, maybe had similar thoughts as me. We're like, oh, it slows it down too much, maybe. But also, damn, on this season that we're watching, there was one guy where it felt like for like 2 episodes in a row, it was like, this guy 100% should have been eliminated, but somebody else like just like threw. Or it was like that guy that I said that like AFK raged and left and just threw out his whole thing. I was like, this other dude definitely should have been eliminated that episode, but because that guy like randomly like rage quit, I was like, okay, well that guy is safe, and now the rage guy is definitely getting eliminated, so rip that guy. I say rage. He didn't actually like, he wasn't yelling or anything. Like, he was obviously like tilted and frustrated, but it wasn't like anything too horrible. That's like one thing. Like, because I like watching MasterChef. I think it's like cool, like on there, just like the variety of like what people do make. And I don't know, it's just different vibes. But like, there are definitely times on MasterChef where it's very like Americanized, I guess, with the editing. Like, there was like, I remember in the last season Skittle and I watched, there was like this one guy, he like they showed him like slipping. I think he was like going from like the cooking station to like the pantry or equipment area, whatever. Just like he was getting up to grab something, and he slipped and like fell, and like the editing made like a big thing out of it, and then it cut to commercial break, and then it cut back in, and like nothing happened. Like nothing happened at all. It was just like, yep, I'm good. It's like, okay, I'm glad we made a big deal out of this just for like nothing to happen. So like that felt kind of silly. So they'll do stuff like that in MasterChef, which is like a little like eh. And I assume like they gotta play it up for like their ratings or whatever. Like, oh shit, yeah, look at this crazy thing that's gonna happen. When are you going on a baking show, Prac? I'm trying to see Prac on a baking show. Yeah, so I made for you taquitos. I just kind of microwaved them. I didn't feel like baking them today. Would you do that, Prac? Also, my cabin's like getting cut off, so rip. I think like the idea of Prac on like a cooking or baking show would be like just really funny to me in like a shitposty parody type of way, just because of like, you know, when people are on like baking shows or whatever, like, you know, or cooking shows, like they go up, they like present whatever they made, and they're like, I made this, and like, you know, I did blah 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 blah. This has a orange, raspberry, and lemon reduction. It has candied apple pieces. Like they're just using so many different like words and terms to describe techniques they used, and then like Prac would be like, yeah, I just kind of like, I don't know, just kind of put it on there. I don't know. In some like random timeline where Prac was for some reason on a cooking show. But in that timeline, Prac is also just as he is now and is not like a trained chef or anything. Or doesn't have like tons of experience with cooking. Just like the chaotic like energy would just be so funny to me. Oh, Prac. That's what people need. People need, like, TV shows need a character like Prac. Also, I need to hurry the hell up and finish this because we're already at the hour mark almost. We're like 59:13. I have been like I've been talking a lot this Mario Paint painting. I've been talking so much. Ooh, that was a good back crack. Ooh, I think one of those went through. Ooh, that felt good. Actually, there is this person on Great British Bake Off right now in the season we're watching, and this girl, I forget what she made the other night or what she made last night, but she has Indian and skills. Like, yo, imagine if she made gulab jamun. That would have been crazy if she made that. Because I think they had the final showstopper challenge was a donut challenge, and skills like, damn, imagine if she did like a gulab jamun donut, which would have been crazy. That would have been pretty spicy if she did something like that. Because a lot of her bakes have been like, you know, she's just like using a ton of like spices and such. Ooh, okay. Y'all saw I was moving the brush in like a smooth motion and it just stopped dead in its tracks, and I kept moving my arm for like 3 seconds and nothing happened at all. Which, totally unrelated to cooking shows or prac beyond cooking shows or anything of that nature, but I was like watching / listening to like, you know, a streamer last night, and I heard him talking about at one point how I think I missed if it's like the current like mouse and keyboard he has right now, but apparently this guy, he uses an Amazon Basics keyboard. I'm like, what? They make keyboards too? Are you serious? And I'm like, I'm sure it's okay. I'm sure it's probably not bad. But he said he had an Amazon Basics like a wireless mouse at some point, and he said that was not very good at all, which I believe that. But I'm like, they make keyboards for Amazon Basics. That's insane. I've never heard of that. Does anybody here main a wireless mouse? Because I have never owned a wireless mouse, actually. I can confidently say I've never even owned one once in my life. And like, I feel like, in my opinion, you know, if you want to use one, cool, go for it. I mean, can't really stop you. But I just feel like for like using, if you're sitting at your desk, you have your desktop computer, like a lot of gamers these days do, have their desktop computer. Like, I feel like usually a wireless mouse is like not, like, it doesn't make sense to me to have a wireless mouse. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, like you would like, your setup would look a little cleaner, and like you wouldn't have to worry about a mouse cable. But like, I feel like your setup just must be really bad if your mouse cable is like constantly an issue or something. Because I have like never had the consideration of like, oh, my mouse cable is like in the way constantly, and like maybe some people have a setup where it's like that, but I've never had a setup where I've had that thought. And yeah, you know, like, I know it's like a whole thing for, especially for like Bluetooth headphones, how it's like, you know, like Bluetooth headphones, they just have more latency and aren't as good as wired headphones. Shocker. But insert phone companies for moving the damn headphone jack because fuck Apple. Anyways. And I know on the weekend, I think Skittle is playing this rhythm game. What's it called? It's like Bits and Bops, I think is what it's called. And like when you open the game, it's like a Rhythm Heaven inspired game. When you open the game, it straight up has a disclaimer saying like, hey, this game is best experienced with wired headphones. Like it's just straight up says like the latency of like Bluetooth slash wireless headphones might like hinder your experience to play this well. I'm like, damn, shoutouts. Shoutouts to stuff like that. But like, I'm sure that most people use like Bluetooth headphones. Like if you're on your computer using Bluetooth headphones or wireless headphones, I'm sure most people use it for the convenience factor. Like for me personally, like, you know, like a wireless mouse on your desktop, I can understand the concept of that, but a wireless keyboard, I feels like, personally for me, just feels like very unnecessary, in my opinion. Like, I don't know, I just wouldn't want to have to deal with the issue of like, oops, I forgot to charge my mouse or my keyboard, my headset or something, and now I can't use it. I just wouldn't want that scenario to have to occur. Personally. Yeah, you with your MMO mouse, which is crazy. I've never used an MMO mouse. Slash, I've never like owned one. I mean, I guess I've used yours like at your computer randomly, but like it's hard for me to imagine like the side of my mouse like having like, I guess whatever, but the side of your mouse having like 15 buttons that are so small. Like I couldn't imagine like being able to like accurately, like without like looking, be like, oh, I need to hit like button 7 or something. Oh, button 12. Okay, button 3. Like I imagine, you know, it's just muscle memory, you get used to it, but like this seems so like difficult like in my head. Alright, mouse, please work with me. Or blow into it like blowing into a cartridge, for good luck. Okay, just use 3 trees and we're done. And then we're done. Yeah, it makes sense that you would adjust to something like that. It makes sense. It just seems so rough as like an outsider, but then again, it probably seems like rough for people like, you know, using like a keyboard without looking at it, but also I feel like that's a little different. You know, for like people like, you know, when you're learning to use a keyboard like as a kid, or if you're like a parent, whatever, that like doesn't use keyboards much, whatever. I wonder if that's still a thing in schools, if they still make kids like take like keyboard classes. But I remember in like grade like 2, like they had us go into like the library in our school where like the computers were at, and you know, we had to just do like typing like lessons. Like there were like little games on the computer we'd have to play. Or little like typing games to help us like learn. Like, okay, like make sure you're putting, you know, your index finger here, thumb here. Blah, 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 all those things. I assume that's probably still a thing. Surely that's still a thing. You know, I like this painting so far. Unrelated to anything, but relating to the current content of the stream, I like this painting. It's a nice little painting. This painting could have easily been like 20 minutes faster, but yeah, I've had many times where I just sit there and like talk without doing anything. And that's a weird thing for me with like drawing slash like Mario painting in general. Like I feel like there are some days where I can talk and draw slash paint without any issues like at the same time. But then there are other days where like I like have to like stop everything I'm doing. It's like super weird. And I think these days, you know, I'm not usually in a call while I'm drawing. I'm usually just like by myself. So I guess like these days, like I'm not as practiced, I guess, with drawing and talking at the same time, even though Mario Paint is literally doing that. So I don't know. I don't know. I wanted to overlap just a bit. But Mario Paint, I'm also like, you know, I'm in that streaming mindset. Whereas like if I'm just like in like a call with people, like that's like a different mindset. I want a dark brown. I don't want to use black for this, but I don't have a dark brown. No, it's fine. Subtle little tree branch. It's fine. This has some dark ones up here though, for sure. Also, I'm about to brush my teeth after this run because Think about Isaac. Because I didn't brush my teeth after I ate oatmeal today. Because I don't know, I had my oatmeal and then I had some acidic food after that, and I was like, I know you're not supposed to brush your teeth right after eating acidic food, so I was like, I'm just gonna stream and I'll brush my teeth like after Mario Paint. So I have brushed my teeth on the menu after this painting. We'll do some Isaac. We'll do some Isaac after this. But I gotta brush my teeth in my little break time. Alright, Ebo, hey. You're just in time for me to be almost done with the painting. Are you excited for that? Are you gonna play Guild Wars 1 with me? Damn, Prak looking at his like work monitor and me hearing me say, hey Ebo, and he's like, oh my god, twin. You didn't even play RuneScape with me. The tea is brewing actively. The tea is brewing between Prak and Ebo, Munka. Peepo hide. I have it on my PC right now, but you're a scary member. What does that mean? You're a peasant free to play? Oh, I see. For anybody here who played Club Penguin growing up, did y'all ever have like the premium membership at any point? I know Prak was definitely out here like getting his mom to get him WoW as a kid, probably. I never had any sort of like online membership like that growing up. But also we didn't have internet for a long time growing up at home, so rip. But I remember my friend at one point growing up, he had like there was like I think it was just 1 month his mom like let him like get like the premium Club Penguin membership, and like I remember you could get like a bigger igloo and like more like just like stuff for your igloo, and it was like back then it was like the coolest thing ever. And I remember just being like, whoa, oh my god, this is so cool. I want that, but then I can't. Oh, back in the simpler days when like having like internet was like an amazing thing. Now having internet is just like a necessity. Like in the modern day, if you don't have internet, it's just like an active throw, pretty much at this point. Like I have this vivid memory of being in grade 5 or grade 4. I think it was grade 4. And I remember just saying to some kid like, "Oh yeah, we don't have internet at home." And he's like, "What? You don't have internet at home?" And like that would have been like 2000 like 6, something like that. Like 2007-ish, somewhere in that range. So it's like I mean, it definitely wasn't common back then to have internet. But was I just like the one kid in my school that didn't have internet, maybe? Probably not, but I was one of them for sure. Your main one was Ragnarok Online. The only other person I know who knows what that is Arma. Oh, Army. So knowledgeable. What you ended up doing with RuneScape and WoW membership, I got those Visa gift cards from stores. Oh yeah, those were a classic. The prepaid Visa cards. Those were goated back then. They were so good. I don't know. Do they still make those? Probably. Yeah, back before we had like a credit card and such, and it was like, ooh, you can like use it to get like credit card things, but it's not actually like needing a real credit card. Fun times. Take me back, honestly. Take me back. Honestly, I think this painting is like about as done as I want it to be. Well, I kind of want this gray to be like a little more like boom. Let's do a little more gray here. But I think on that, I think I'm gonna call it there. I think this one turned out pretty nice. I like it. So yeah, that's all the painting I got for this one. So hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.